Legit. What is going on in Cincinnati? It seems like everybody and their dog right now wants out of Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson is the newest Cincinnati Bengals saying, I want out. I want to be traded. I want out of Cincinnati. Either give me some damn money or I want out. T. Higgins was also rumored to be wanting out of Cincinnati as well. T. Higgins was franchise tagged, but he wants out. With that being said, Trey Hendrickson, guys, has 2 years left on his deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. This year, he's scheduled to make $14.8 million this season and $15.8 million next season. Key word here, no guaranteed money. Trey has no guaranteed money for this year and next year. So he wants a little bit of guaranteed money in his deal. He sees what Joe Burrow's getting guaranteed money. He sees Penny Sewell getting guaranteed money. He sees all these people getting guaranteed money. And my man says, I want some guaranteed money. The Cincinnati Bengals have said that they do not plan on moving on from Trey at all. Well, no shit. Trey has been a Pro Bowl player for you every year he has been a Cincinnati Bengal. Trey has been one of the most dominating defensive ends in recent memory for the Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, you're not going to want to move on from him. But if the Bengals were to trade him, let's say some draft day crazy tradiness happens and a team doesn't get their edge rusher, a team wants to improve their edge rusher and win right now. Minnesota Vikings come to mind. The Bengals would have a $7.8 million dead cap hit if they were to trade him before June 1st. If they wait till after the draft, wait till June, post June 1st, so June 2nd, June 3rd, it's only a $5.2 million cap hit. Now, as I don't see any draft day moves for Trey at all, I don't see somebody presenting the Bengals with a deal that they just cannot live with, or live without, I should say. There's still a pretty big possibility. Trey is probably valued at what? A second round pick? Maybe late first? Look at a team like the Minnesota Vikings just lost their edge rusher in Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter is now a Houston Texan. Speaking of those Houston Texans, look at those damn jerseys. Damn, those are sexy. But I could see potentially the Houston Texans, the Minnesota Vikings making a play for Trey. We lost our edge rusher. Let's go ahead and go get your edge rusher. How does a 23rd overall pick sound? If you are a Cincinnati Bengals fan, you would jump at that. Get it, baby, right? There'd be no question in my mind that they would not go out and get that damn man or take that 23rd overall draft pick. It's only a $7 million cap hit, $8 million. Not too shabby. But then I got to thinking. We got to ask the question. Why does everybody want out of Cincinnati all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden are all these starters, not even role players or backups or even vets, right? These are players that are in their prime, poised to make pretty good money somewhere, right? Why do they want out of Cincinnati all of a sudden? T. Higgins obviously wants a contract. I get it. Trey wants some guaranteed money. I get it. But you know what the biggest issue is in Cincinnati? The biggest issue in Cincinnati is they have been placed up upon this pedestal, much like the Dallas Cowboys. This is a team that can win a Super Bowl. This is a team that can win the Super Bowl. This is a team that can build a dynasty right now. This is a team that is to the moon, baby. But the Bengals have consistently underperformed year after year after year. I do understand they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? For 3 years ago. I understand that. But Joe Burrow has not played a full season. They consistently flutter off sometime throughout the season. They consistently are just blah. That is the problem with the Cincinnati Bengals. They have the highest of the highest ceilings, but the lowest of the lowest floors. What do I mean by that? When they are good, when they are clicking, they are freaking good. Super Bowl caliber team. But when they're bad, they are bad. Hell, the Jets almost beat them a couple years ago, right? They are bad when they're bad. Anyways, let's move on to a team that isn't so bad right now. Let's move on to a team that is making some moves, some hella nice moves. A team that is saying that, you know what? We are here right now. Let's build it from the ground up and take it to the Super Bowl. And that is the one and only, the Detroit Lions in the Hawaiian blue uniforms. I'm kind of looking forward to their black uniforms this season. Kind of looking forward to it. But the Detroit Lions, they have made some moves in the last 24 hours. Pre-draft last year, we saw Lamar Jackson get that big bag, right? I sat on the live show, draft day special in Chicago last year with my man Beastie Combs and Fitz. We sat there and I said, this is stupid for them to sign Lamar Jackson this deal. Eating my words now. But the Detroit Lions, last 24 hours, hell, the last 12 hours, signed Penny Sewell to a 4-year, $112 million deal and Amon-Ra St. Brown to a 4-year, $120 million deal. The Lions are making some moves and they are securing their team for the future. And even when you look at the Detroit Lions right now, guess what? This year they still have $26 million in cap space to spend. They want to go out and get somebody else, $26 million to do it still. How about next year? $98 million to go do something. About. Obviously, it will probably go up with the TV deals and all that crap. But $98 million. How about in 2026? $161 million to play with in cap space. Guys, the Detroit Lions are quietly building a dynasty right now. The Detroit Lions are quietly becoming one of the best franchises in the NFL. The Detroit Lions are quietly becoming the team to beat in the NFC. The Detroit Lions are quietly becoming a team that you do not want to see on your schedule. When you look at the Detroit Lions right now, April 25th, 10:15 a.m. here on the East Coast time, 2024, the Detroit Lions have the right coaches in place. Dan Campbell is perfect for that team. He has given them the grit factor, the biting of the kneecaps, and all that other crap that he says. Dan Campbell is the right coach at the right time for the Detroit Lions. They have the right players in place. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a 4th-round draft pick in the wide receiver, just signed a 4-year, $120 million deal. They stole him in the draft. Let's just be honest. Penny Sewell, former first round pick, 4-year, $112 million. They are signing their guys. They are drafting their guys. They're developing their guys. And they are winning a lot of freaking football games. Guys, the Detroit Lions have a chance to build a dynasty right now. The Detroit Lions have a chance to be a team like the 80s 49ers, the 90s Dallas Cowboys, the 2000 New England Patriots, the 2010s, 2020s Kansas City Chiefs. The Detroit Lions are them right now. These two signings right here of Penny Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown show me that they are ready to win right now. They're not fooling around. They're not dangling out the carrot like Jerry Jones is down there in Dallas. Hey, we're all in on this year. If we do all in, you might get this bag, or you might not, or you might get it. The Ford family, Dan Campbell, the rest of the people part of the Detroit Lions organization are doing things the right way. They're doing things the right way. They're building within. They're building everybody up, and they are going to win a lot of freaking football games. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I am pissed off about this. I don't want to see the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl year after year after year. It's our time. It's our time, damn it. But the Detroit Lions are coming. They are coming, and they are ready to make some freaking noise. This year in the draft, the Detroit Lions can completely bomb the draft. 100%. Missed on every freaking draft pick, and they're still going to be front runners in the NFC because of the team that they built from within. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you think the Detroit Lions have officially built a dynasty? Do you guys think that the Detroit Lions have officially gotten over their 0-16 and all that curse crap, right? What do you guys think? My boy WB Ant is in the house. What's up, Ant? Good morning, good sir. Happy draft day. James Shamos says, but do they move on from Jared Goff, though? That is the question that I think every Detroit Lion fan right now is asking themselves. That is the question of the century. Because me personally, 3 weeks ago, I thought there was no doubt about it that the Detroit Lions were going to move on from Jared Goff. He was a nice bridge gap quarterback, got them to the NFC Championship game. No matter what happens this season, pending even a Super Bowl championship, I thought Jared Goff was like gone. In my head, Jared Goff is out after this season because I believe his contract is up after this season. They did draft a quarterback last season by the name of Hendon Hooker, right? What they took him, let me get my facts straight. Let me pull up Hendon Hooker's name on NFLtoday.co. Picked him up in the 3rd round. Nice 26-year-old quarterback coming off of, what was it, ACL injury in college? But I get mistaken by Jared Goff a lot. Every time I pull up Jared Goff's name, I feel like he's only 29. Doesn't it feel like Jared Goff has been in the NFL forever? Right? I mean, he's only 29 years old. Jared Goff has come out and said that he would love to stay in Detroit long term. What does that say to me? He's willing to take a hometown discount. He's willing to take less of what the market says he's worth, right? And stay in Detroit and win a lot of games. Jared Goff has been to the top with the Rams. Took them to the Super Bowl. Got humiliated in the Super Bowl by the Patriots, but led them to the Super Bowl. One of the highest flying offenses we've seen in recent years. Wasn't it that the year that the Rams and the Chiefs had like a 59-56 score? Something crazy. Then we see him at the lows of lows with the Rams, right? Got traded. Get out of here. Jared Goff was stealing Sean McVay's lady. Get out of here. So when we asked the question, do the Detroit Lions move on from Jared Goff? A couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I would have said yes. I would have said no matter what happens with Jared Goff this season, he is out of town. Hendon Hooker is the guy. But looking what the Detroit Lions just did with Penny Sewell and St. Brown. Looking at the cap space that they have in 2025 with $98 million. Looking at the cap space that they have in 2026, $161 million. I don't think you can logically move on from Jared Goff. I don't think you can logically push a guy out that has been with you for going on 4 years here now in 2024. That has took you from complete dumpster fire organization to NFC Championship game, and without a second half blunder meltdown, the ball bouncing off of whose face was it? Was it St. Brown's face into the 49ers Ward's hands for the interception, right? The Lions would have been in the Super Bowl. Let's just be honest. How can you legitimately move on from a guy that has took you from the bottom to the top? Started from the bottom, now we're here. If the Detroit Lions move on from Jared Goff, I think they're doing their dynasty, their fans, their ownership, their coaching, the rest of the team a disservice. Jared Goff has proven that he is perfect for Detroit. Jared Goff has proven that he is the man, the myth, the legend in Detroit. Jared Goff has proven that he is willing to do whatever it takes to win a lot of football games in Detroit. The Detroit Lions better not move on from Jared Goff. Better not. WBN says the Lions definitely overachieved last season with them going to the NFC Championship game. Do we really think that the Lions overachieved in 2023? Do we really think that they were not poised to kind of make that next step up? Yes, I do understand the previous year they missed the playoffs, right? They were 8-9 or 9-8. Started out was 0-8. Rattled off a bunch of wins in 2022 toward the end of the season. Couldn't quite get the job done. This year, 2023, in the regular season, they finished 12-5 with wins over the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Packers early. They beat the Bucs, a really, really good Bucs team. They got dismantled by the Ravens. Let's not forget about that, Ant. The Ravens laid the smackdown on the Lions. What was that, week 9? Right? They beat the Saints. They beat the Vikings. I mean, when you go 12-5, no matter what the schedule dictates, you go 12-5, you are a top-tier team in the NFL. Looking at the Lions' schedule right now, it was pretty easy. I'm trying to give a dog a bone, but when you look at their schedule, it was pretty easy. They played the Falcons. Trash. They played the Panthers. Trash. Raiders. Trash. Chargers. Trash. The Bears at the time starting to come up a little bit, right? Bears weren't trash, but they just weren't very good. Saints, you never know who you were going to get. But to say they overachieved, I don't know. I mean, when you look at the NFC, we basically knew it was going to be the 49ers. And then beyond that, it was kind of wide open. Was it going to be the Packers? They weren't ready to win yet. Was it going to be the Eagles? They shouldn't have even been in the playoffs. Start, 10-1 and lose the last 6 games of the season? Wow. Bucks. I liked me some Bucks last season, but they weren't ready to win. They couldn't put a threat to the 49ers or the Chiefs. And the only other two teams that you have are the Cowboys and the Lions. And I think the Lions were better than the Cowboys, obviously, because they beat them in the playoffs. But I don't know if they overachieved. I don't think that is the correct answer. I mean, 12-5 is a pretty good record. James says, yes, the Lions are on beasting. Happy draft day. And says 2029 is still kind of young in the era. Goff could probably play for another 7-8 years if he could stay healthy and produce. I'm not saying that 29 is old, Ant. What I'm saying is every time I think of Jared Goff in my head, I want to put like the 35, 36 number on him, age-wise. And then when I look up, I'm like, you're only 29? Get out of here. Your Tinder profile's lying to me. Jim Powell's in the chat. Speaking of Pigskin Pundits, Pigskin Pundit CEO right there, Jim Powell. guys, click on the link below. Become a Pigskin Pundit. While we're off for the next 6 to 7 weeks, you can get some behind-the-scenes footage. We're going to do some test shows. We'll be breaking down film. We're going to be talking about the draft. Only if you're a Pigskin Pundit. You got to be a Pigskin Pundit like Jim Powell is, but he says nobody cares. It's the Lions. A lot of people care, Jim. I was on my man Luke G's show last night. A lot of people care about the Lions. Had about 300 people on there. On a live. A guy that doesn't even use a camera. I was on there talking shit. The Lions are probably the new America's team, let's just be honest. WBN says the Rams were my dark horse and barely lost against the Lions. I was with you on that. I said the Rams were going to surprise a lot of people. To start this season, I was like, oh, man, I'm getting ready to eat those words. But Cooper Kupp came back. Matthew Stafford looked like Matthew Stafford of old. Nakuka Puka. Is that how you say it? Name? Puka or Puka? He came out of nowhere. Led the league in drops. But, hey, he did some shit. The Rams were a really, really good team. I was actually thinking about, after I said the Rams were going to be a dark horse wildcard team, this was back in June, July of last season. Week 3, week 4 rolls on, and the Rams just not looking very good. I'm like, man, Matthew Stafford looked really good on the Dallas Cowboys right now. Still think he would, but Jim says the lines are AI generated. AI generated. But guys, in this draft day, as James says, draft day, we have to talk a little bit about the draft. I've been driving on the inside of what's been going on there on the NFL, but on this beautiful draft day, we are what? Draft starts at 8. It's 10:30 here on the East Coast time, so we're about 10 hours away from the draft. We're 10 hours away from the draft, and currently the New York Football Giants hold the number 6 overall pick. But there have been rumors floating around with the New York Giants. Are they going to move up? Are they going to move down? Are they going to draft a quarterback? Are they going to draft a receiver? What are the Giants going to do? Every mock draft that I have seen out there that is legit, I guess you can say, the experts have the Giants moving up in the draft and drafting a quarterback. So we got to ask this question. If and then, if the Giants move up in the draft and draft a quarterback, then what? Then what? Guys, let's look at the New York Football Giants. Let's flash back to this time last season. Saquon Barkley was franchise tagged. Daniel Jones, they decided to sign him for a 4-year, $160 million deal. $160 million deal. 1 year later, an injury-shortened season Daniel Jones may not be our guy. Guys, the problem here is the Giants have more issues than the quarterback realm. I think Daniel Jones kind of gets a bad rap myself, but I think there is more to it than just drafting a quarterback. When you look at the Giants' offense as a whole, let's look at their whole. They need to address a hell of a lot more than the quarterback. The quarterback's not a pressing need. What is a pressing need? Wide receiver. Wide receiver is a huge open spot for the New York Football Giants. Their number 1 receiver right now, listed per ESPN.com, NFL.com, and all the APIs out there, have Wendell Robinson, currently their number 1 receiver. Wendell Robinson is from the University of Kentucky. I got to see him play a lot. Actually went to a few games and watched him in person. Wendell Robinson is not a number 1 receiver. Hate to say it, he's not a number 1 receiver. He did have a 500-yard year last year. Has around 800 yards on his 2-year career. But he can't find the end zone. He has problem dropping the damn ball. He's not a number one guy. Then we look at the running back room. Let Saquon Barkley walk away. Didn't try to franchise tag him. Didn't try to give him a worthwhile deal. Let him walk away. Now, they did pick up Devin Singletary from the Buffalo Bills this offseason. He has had 4 semi-productive years in Buffalo, averaging around 800 yards a season. But those kind of numbers are not going to cut it in New York. Let's just be honest. With your number one receiver as Wan'Dale Robinson, you better be putting out 1,500 yards on the ground. I don't think Devin Singletary is that guy. Then we look at the offensive line. Historically bad offensive line. Last season per PFF.com, that's Pro Football Reference for you people out there, they ranked 30th in old line rankings behind the Tennessee Titans and the New York Jets. But with that being said, they had a 46% pass block win rate, meaning around 60% of the times the line would blow their block and their quarterback would get pressured, sacked, whatever. The line freaking sucked. Oh, let's take it one step further. You guys want to go further? Let's go further. Tight end situation. Darren Waller. Jim Powell, John, you guys know very well about Darren Waller. Darren Waller doesn't even know if he's playing in 2024. We don't know. The team doesn't know. Hell, does he even know? The New York Football Giants have so many freaking holes on their team. Drafting a quarterback 6th overall should be least of their priorities. So when I ask the question, the if and then statement of the day, if the New York Giants move up and draft a quarterback, then what? Then they are making the worst draft trade / pick in the team's history. If the New York Giants move up in this year's draft to draft a quarterback, they're doing their team a disservice. They're doing their coaching staff a disservice. They're using 4 years, $160 million deal for Daniel Jones a disservice. If the Giants, Brian Daboll, whoever the owner is and general manager, if they decide to move up and draft a quarterback, hell, if they draft a quarterback at 6th overall, they are wrong. Wrong. Get a receiver, get an offensive lineman, get a tight end, get a running back, get anybody but a quarterback. The Giants can improve their team by drafting anybody but a freaking quarterback tonight. It is what it is. Facts. Ant's got a question for us. Sorry, guys, I'm coughing the storm up. I was being a rap artist before the show. Ant says, what players do y'all see getting traded tonight? There are players out there like T. Higgins, that's wants out. Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals wants out. There are many plausible pieces that could possibly happen. I think this year's draft has the potential to have the most moves on draft night. But I don't think any players get traded tonight. Now, there might be a potential where we see in like the NBA, right, with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant got drafted by the Hornets but was traded to the Lakers like the very next pick or something crazy. I could potentially see that. I could see, let's say, the Cardinals, for some reason, draft a quarterback sitting at fourth overall. Let's say they draft a quarterback. The Giants be like, hey, we like Bo Nix. Send him over to the Big Apple. Put him on the first flight to New York. We'll give you a first-round pick. We'll give you and then we'll give you like a second round pick. I can see something like that happening. But I don't think any players get traded. Jim says nobody cares. It's the Giants. This one might be true. This one legitimately might be true. Nobody cares about the Giants. And then Ant says the Giants will suck. They need a running back, O-line, receiver, defensive line help, cornerback, safety, linebacker, new coaching staff. The Giants need to fill every spot pretty much but quarterback. And that's what James says. Giants need everything. 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 They'll be stuck. They will be stuck in the NFC East basement for a foreseeable future. And you know what's sad about this? In 2022, the Giants were in the playoffs. Legit. Look it up. In 2022, the Giants were in the playoffs. I actually believe they won their first round game. Was it the first round game that they won? Let me look it up to confirm that. But I thought they won a playoff game that year. It had to have been against the Saints or something. But then they go into the divisional round and they get beat down by the Eagles, which ultimately end up going to the Super Bowl. But let me pull up the 2022 season, right? Come on. So, they beat the Vikings in the wild card round. They went to Minnesota and beat the Vikings 31-24 with a 9-7-1 record that they had this season. And then they went to Philadelphia the following week and got beat down. This was 2 years ago, 2022. And now all of a sudden, 5-12. We're talking like they're going to be the basement of the NFC East for the foreseeable future. All because the Giants organization sucks. They messed up by not keeping Saquon Barkley. Let's just be flat and honest about that. Let's address the elephant in the room. The Eagles made a mistake by letting Saquon Barkley walk from the team, walk across the state lines, into Pennsylvania, into Philadelphia. Made a mistake. That was strike number one. Actually, that was strike three. Strike number one was not even negotiating him in fairness and trying to actually get him a deal. It's like $9 million you're offering us, something crazy like that. He's a heart and soul of your team. You're like, oh, here's some pocket change. We know you want to stay here. And then they signed Daniel Jones, 4 years, $106 million deal, and injury shortened season last year, and they already want to kick him out of town. Let's go back to this Ant question here. Let me scroll up to it. Do we see any players getting signed or traded? It would not surprise me one bit here if a team decides to take a flyer on Daniel Jones. Let's just be total devil's advocate here, right? Let's say the Giants want to move up to that second overall pick. Washington Commanders currently hold that pick. Washington Commanders are not sold on Jaden Daniels, not sold on J.J. McCarthy, not sold on anybody in this draft whatsoever. Their general manager wants to take the 49er way, right? Build a team around the quarterback position and then insert any quarterback per se. That is their goal in Washington, is to have a plug-and-play quarterback system. So as I don't see anything trade-wise happening as far as players, it would not shock me one bit if the New York Football Giants went to a division rival in the Washington Commanders, and the Commanders took this, saying, hey, we'll give you Daniel Jones and our 6th overall pick. We want your 2nd pick. It would not shock me one bit. It would not shock me one bit if that were to happen, because the Commanders seem to be fumbling this draft process. The ownership of the Washington Commanders is based off of a group of all-stars that are basketball and baseball players, not football minds. General manager, kind of being a yes man. Dan Quinn just wants a job, wants a NFL head coaching job. He's going to be a yes man. I think that would be a crazy trade. Interdivision, moving up from 6 to number 2. You're getting a washed up bad quarterback in Daniel Jones. I think it would be a terrible move for the Giants, but the Commanders would definitely come out on top of that. 100%. I could see that happening. Do I hope it happens? Kind of, just to see the Giants suck that much more. That would be freaking hilarious. Jim Powell, what's up, Jim? Waller is a rap artist now. I think. Is he? Let's go check him out on YouTube on the After Hours show. James says, if the Cardinals don't take Harrison Jr., everyone in the organization needs to be fired. I think that the Cardinals are currently holding the 3rd overall pick, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull up my draft order. I don't have it pulled up. Let me pull it up. Oh, it's taking forever. I guess when you're streaming and trying to do stuff. Sorry, they're the 4th overall pick. Patriots are 3rd. 4th overall pick. I think the Cardinals are going to move out of the 4th overall pick. I think they're going to move down. The Giants are going to be players to move up. The Falcons are going to be players to, not the Falcons, the Jets are going to be players to move up. Vikings might be players to move up. I think the Cardinals are looking to move down so they don't fumble this pick. Because I don't think Kyler Murray is a franchise quarterback for the Cardinals moving forward. I think the head coach, the general manager, all kind of see that as well. Kyler Murray isn't their guy. Much like Justin Fields wasn't Ryan Poles' guy, right? Kyler Murray isn't their guy. So if they do sit at number 4 and they don't move down, they're going to be tempted to draft a quarterback. They're going to be tempted to draft a quarterback. So if you are the Giants and you want to draft a quarterback, play with the Cardinals. They just might flat out swap your picks. Play with the Jets. Play with the Vikings. As I think Harrison Jr. is probably the best receiver on the board, although Malik Neighbors is jumped off at the film at me a lot. And I love his attitude toward the whole draft, toward the draft process. Marvin Harrison is going to be a sought-after guy, but I think we're going to see 4 quarterbacks go off the board, guys. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to see Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy go 1, 2, 3, 4. It would not shock me one bit. It would not shock me if we see the Jets jump up into that 5th overall pick. It would not shock me if we see the Vikings make a package deal with their 2 first-round picks and get in the top 5, top 3. It would not surprise me. And says, I think T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, and Buda Baker will get traded. I could definitely see Daniel Jones getting traded too. See, this is the problem with T. Higgins. As the team franchise has the Cincinnati Bengals did franchise tag T. Higgins, right? They tagged him. But I don't know if that franchise tags transfers from team to team to team, because I think a team can only get like 2 franchise tags. Is it 2 or 3? So let's just play devil's advocate here. I don't know this. This is all straight off the top of my head. Let's say T. Higgins goes to the Baltimore Ravens here. The Baltimore Ravens have already tagged two of their guys. So when you trade for T. Higgins, you don't have a 3rd franchise tag to, quote, tag him again. Does that tag go with the player? Like, this is when I need Hoffy to like Google this and look this up for me, because my common sense brain says here, yes, the tag does go with the player, but why would a team like the Bengals, like the Chiefs, like the Patriots trade for a guy, a potentially a draft pick, for a guy that they're going to only have for a year? right? There has to be some type of contract probably already worked out to like say, but T. Higgins trade, what would you give up? Are you giving up a first-round draft pick for T. Higgins? Probably not. Second-round pick? Yeah. Late second round, mid-second round. And when you look at teams that could potentially use receiver help, right? You see the Steelers could probably use some receiver help. The Buffalo Bills. The Ravens always need receiver help. They can never keep anybody there. The Chiefs. Let's say you are the Ravens. You are the 30th overall pick in the second round, the 62nd overall pick. Do you make that trade? And you are a Ravens guy. Do you make that trade? Baltimore Ravens actually, I mean, that's not going to happen. But let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's say it does happen in a interdivision trade. Baltimore Ravens say, Bengals will give you our second overall pick for T. Higgins. Do you take that? I don't think you do. I think it's going to be some type of package deal. Second and a third, second and a fourth. Maybe swap first-round picks. I don't know. Something. Do y'all think y'all team will take in the first round? I'm thinking the Ravens will take Cooper, DeJean, or Tyler Guyton. Listen, the Chiefs can draft anybody that they want. Three-peat coming, baby. As a Dolphins fan, they're the most unpredictable team in the NFL when it comes to the draft. I just hope they pick somebody. They draft a TN. Dallin Hawker. I'll give them Rashad Bateman, the fourth rounder for T. Higgins. They just signed Rashad Bateman to a big-ass extension. Did they not? I don't know. But, guys, that's going to be it for today's show. That is going to be it. It is draft day. Draft night. Draft weekend. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. East Coast time. We'll be talking about the first-round draft pick and how bad the Miami Dolphins fumbled it. How bad the New York Giants fumbled it. We'll be talking about it. But if there's any more NFL news that comes across the board, we'll talk about that as well. This is live, raw, uncut NFL talk, guys. Every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. East Coast time. Actually, I lied. Tomorrow is the last day we're here at 10 a.m. Then we're off for 6 weeks. Back June 18th, 2 p.m. in the afternoon on the East Coast time. Have a great day. Happy draft day. Happy draft weekend. Draft responsibility. Draft responsible. Don't draft and drive. And by golly, kiss the lady goodnight tonight. See you guys tomorrow. We out.